Let's go. Uh, New York session, 21 February 2025. So let's go New York session. Let us investigate New York session market movement reflection video. So I want to highlight the opening price. New York session opened together with London combined, and that was the opening price highlighted by that red candlestick. Now I know that there was going to be news happening at 5 minutes to 15 minutes to 5, high impactful news, and then at 10 p.m. as well, South African time for the US. These are suspected to be high impactful news. So the opening price was there, and prices, that was the opening price. And from the opening price, 11 pips to the downside, right? And from this, and we're trading at the highest prices for the day, right? From here, 15 pips in 5 minutes, 12 pips in 5 minutes back to the opening price. And in the next candlestick, there was an attempt to close above the New York opening price. However, that attempt was held bound by sellers, and eventually 1 hour before the impactful high, 1 hour before the high impact news, 15 minutes before before 4 o'clock. So 45 minutes later, after the price New York had opened, then there was a close up. There was a close above the opening price and a little pullback, and then at 3:40 there was a bullish candlestick that was 23 pips after this little pullback to the upside, 0.11 pips percent. Then right now, what was happening? This was okay. 15 minutes before 4 p.m. prices were trading at their highest ever, right? Then what happened from there? 34 pips pull back to that opening price for New York, and we're trading way past what was the high of the day. 24 pips back to what was New York opening price, and this New York opening price was also a previous high during London. This was the highest traded price for Nasdaq throughout the day. So it's a pullback there, and we see that there was buying volume mixture with selling volume, but seemed like buying was gonna come in. And then 15 minutes past 4, 20 minutes past 4, there was more sellers than there was buyers, and prices traded below that previous high of the day, even after the pullback, right? They traded below. So let's say in this instant, if I were to be trading pullback 13 pips, the price tried to go below the opening price for New York and the pullback to the high of the day. And then, yeah, at this time it closed below. And then the next candlestick where it was 25 minutes past 4, prices started traveling 30 pips in 5 minutes. What took New York 30 minutes in its opening times was now happening in 5 minutes. And then prices ended up trading 83 pips, 84 pips, 84 pips to the downside. Let's just put it into proper perspective. Prices ended up trading 556 pips, 2.5% to the downside, right? So we know the first 1 hour was slow. It was low and prices were trading at what was the high of the day. 20 minutes before the first 1 hour had gone by, prices did successfully close above, then pull back there, and just just at 20 minutes past 4, there was huge selling, which ended up closing around 500 and something pips. So within this 500 and something pips, what I want to find out is which areas were reacted at with liquidity and profitability in terms of and can be capitalized on, right? So if I do highlight the opening price of the day, which will be there, I also want to highlight what was the longest high of the day throughout the day. That was the first longest high of the day, right? And also what was the current low of the day, which was there, right? So then I'm going to observe how price traded towards these areas. As market rolled down, right, we noticed there was bullish volume challenging the selling here. And this bullish volume is happening at London's opening, not London's opening price, but at the open price for the day, where there was the open price for the day. We saw as prices were approaching this point, there was buying volume, and that is where the open was. And then there was a pullback in buying back to what was out of session, and throughout the whole day, even into Tokyo and London, it was a high before London pushed up at this point. It was a high and prices pulled back there, right? They pulled back there and then they managed to close below the opening price, right? And after closing below the opening price, immediately Nasdaq was trading at what was the low of the day. That's where the prices were trading at. And we noticed buying volume. We noticed buying volume. We noticed buying volume. There was selling attempts, but prices closed bullishly. And from there, thereafter, prices now traded back to the opening price and traded past the opening price by 12 pips. So there was trading even past the opening price. However, within 5 minutes, prices closed. Price for Nasdaq closed 18 pips below the opening price, and from then back to what was the low of the day, and eventually it did manage to close. After how long? After five, yeah, after 10 minutes, prices did close below what was the low of the day, and there was like buying inspired volume here, and prices what retraced back to what was the prior London's low alone and the low of the day, and slightly, how slightly, just 5 pips above what was the prior low of the day, and then thereafter the resulted straight 164 pip move in from 510 until in 35 minutes. 164 pip move in 35 minutes, right? So when we look at the times where there was supposed to be like news release, how did the market react? That's 15 minutes before 5. Well, 15 minutes before 5 was when we saw the attempt of buying to go past the opening price but close below. So yeah, then prices reached here where it's now the low of the day, and it was 15 minutes before 6, and then a retracement up that was 88 pips maximum. Bull bearish, just randomness in candlesticks, and then prices closed there during New York and London combined. Then London was now gone. New York traded alone, right? So New York trading alone, that was now the low of the day. It ended up trading New York alone an additional 330 pips in 44 hours and 45 minutes. So where was it stopping? Notice that by the current low just went past. And then was there a pullback? There was a pullback near, actually there was a pullback to what was the low of the day. This pullback happened 10 minutes after prices closed below the low of the day. There was a pullback there, and price then traded the rest of the day 274 pips to the downside. Prices that stopped there, they did stop there to create what was the low of the day, push up, and then new low and double top. Prices closed below what was the new low of the day, and then after closing there, about 10 minutes later, they pull back there, and pulling back there only by 10 pips above the low of the day, and then straight in 15 minutes 106 pips to the downside. And then prices for New York were consolidating around 40 pips, but the last 30 minutes, the last 25 minutes 30 pips, the last closing candlestick was only less than 6 pips, and then we know that there was a gap. The next opening there was a gap that was 53 pips. So yeah, that just sums it all up. The highest selling volume the session came at around 20 minutes past 4. The biggest selling happened, which totally was 525 pips. And then the biggest buying that we saw came at 15 minutes to 6, which was 88 pips to the upside. So I know what I'm talking about. It was 88 pips to the upside until 820, and then the selling continued. Total selling 590 pips. So the reacted at points, we see that price that the things that ended up profitable, meaning the price from there reacted in like liquidous movements. The low of the day pullback, opening price pullback, previous high of the day pullback, also a pullback to the low of the day right there. A pullback to the low of the day right there, and that sums it all up. So total price change for New York from open to close, the total price change was 555 pips, 200 and 2.5 2.50% price move.